Right, hello wine drinking people. Time for more of what I've had to drink yesterday, and always good to see a, I don't want to say old friend because I don't know Larry McGuire that well, but we met, God, 20 years ago the first time when these guys were rolling out Dolce, and I think the first vintage of that one was 1985, but 89 was the first commercial release, and I'm just working at Cafe Max as a sommelier at that point in the early 90s, and one of the first epiphany type tastings that I attended, it was in a restaurant in Meisner, and this was, they paired Dolce, 2 vintages of Dolce versus 2 vintages of Chateau Yquem, and I'll never forget because after smelling the Dolce and then smelling the Chateau Yquem, I said, man, these wines are made a similar fashion to the same grapes, but a world apart in terms of their terroir, their minerality. The Yquem really stood out to me, and although it did overshadow the Yquem in terms of concentration and richness, the Dolce, you know, the Dolce was still very good. The Yquem, though, to me, at the top of the food chain when it comes to botryticized dessert wine. So these guys make great wines. They've got a new project here en route. This Les Brumaux Chardonnay, which not a single vineyard, but more of a brand. And the term signifies fog. In the Russian River, you get a lot of fog there. No ML. They're famous for their no ML style of Chardonnay. And this wine's got a lot of nice fresh fruit to it, tree fruits, a little vanilla bean creme brulee, some cinnamon spice, some nutmeg, a medium toast barrels used here. You notice a little bit of that spice. And they produce about 8,000 cases of this. It's only the second vintage they've made en route Chardonnay. The Pinot Noir we have here has been around for, I think, 6 or 7 vintages now. It was created in 2007, and they've been buying up land to feed this label. You know, one of the most important things is having a good fruit source, and today, there's a lot of money being thrown around buying vineyards in Northern California. So they bought Amber Ridge in 2007. Whenever you can get a top vineyard site at the right price, you buy it. This one's got lovely ripe tree fruits, green apple and peach, and like a nice crispness to the finish here, and just the right touch of toasty oak spice. Excellent juice at $37.50. I don't want to say better than the Niente Napa because it's Russian River and Napa's different. A little juicier fruit in the Napa, and the fruit they use for the 2013 comes from Coombsville, and they own or farm all the vineyards, and the vineyard they have there is along 3rd Avenue, which is primarily where, like I said, the fruit comes from. There's a little Jameson Canyon fruit also, fermented in 60% new oak, and they do some batonnage here also to add a little richness to the wine, and no ML. The cuttings for their vineyards came from Louis Latour's Courtage Charlemagne vineyard, so top level stuff there. And this wine's got a nice amount of rich lemon drop candy fruit, some fresh apple, and just the right touch of toasty oak spice. You know, this wine always known for its non-ML style, really fresh. You can keep it for 10 years in Magnum. Could keep it even longer, and we'll have some Magnums coming in the store very soon. This wine's got a wonderful firm hand of acidity. 2013, a really juicy, a really dense vintage, and excellent for Chardonnay and for the reds as well. $45. All right, we get a great price on that also. These guys have always taken care of us, so we can be very competitive with their brands. En route Pinot, La Pommiers, mostly from that Amber Ridge vineyard I talked about earlier, and they do have some other sites blended in. You get a lovely raspberry, strawberry, dark cherry fruit here. Notes some pretty floral highlights, that brown spice, that cola you get from the Russian River. Really pretty bouquet. And the wines used to be made at Nickel & Nickel, but now they've got their own facility where Costa Brown used to make their Pinot. It's a warehouse, nothing glamorous, but very bright and fresh style of Pinot with raspberry coulis, fresh red cherry pie on the tongue, smooth and silky tannins, nice hand of that brown spice on the finish, lovely freshness here, even better on the second day. Excellent juice at $37.50. All right, the Cabernets, that's what Niente and Nickel & Nickel are known for. You know, they make 15 different single vineyard Cabernets at Nickel & Nickel, and this Quicksilver is a vineyard site off of the Bella Oaks Lane. I think this is the Bella Oaks Vineyard, one of the most famous vineyards in Napa, which Heights makes a wine from there. And it's the first vintage. They've got a 30-year lease here, so they control all the farming. Again, all the Nickel & Nickel wines are 100% varietal like this one. And this wine's got a good amount of dark cherry and dark currant berry fruit, a nice hint of that Rutherford dust, sweet tobacco spice, dark chocolate notes. Very plush and velvety wine on the tongue. Lots of ripe round tannins, that lovely dark berry fruit and sweet tobacco and dark chocolate on the finish. Most excellent juice. This 2012s are juicy, very well balanced, and $105 a bottle. Hey, man, not that much for Napa Valley Cab today. I'm not going to say it's overpriced, but you're going to find a lot of stuff over $100 that's not this good. Like the State Ranch, which this wine also has got a good amount of dark cherry and cassis berry fruit, sweet tobacco spice. A little darker, a little more brooding fruit here in this wine, a little more weight. This is the old State Lane vineyard that Beringer used to have that designation on their labels, but I guess there was a trademark and it really wasn't worth fighting for. That's why they use State Ranch here. And right on the north side of the Oakville Crossroads, so more similar similar to Oakville than Stag's Leap, this wine is, and big and chewy wine on the tongue, like dark berry and currant fruit, a host of toasty oak spice, espresso, bitter cocoa, fresh earth notes there. Big, but still has nice freshness and elegance on the second day, even better, the sign of a great wine. You can consume this on the young side. Hey, that's the 2012 vintage, or keep it for 10 or more years in your cellar. Most excellent juice, $105 also. That seems to be the theme with Nickel and Nickel. And their Cabernets. Niente, the big boy, the granddaddy. This wine's all Oakville, and there's a little bit of Cabernet Franc and Petite Verdot in the blend, one of the iconic wines of Napa Valley. And this wine, very pretty bouquet here, this 2012, just showing a lot of lovely fruit, currants, dark cherries. And you do get some new oak, some toasty oak here. Nice complexity, even better on the second day. These wines need a little time to open up, even though they are forward and juicy. This one's got a lot of nice juicy fruit here, nice plush and smoothness to the tannins. Leaves the tongue salivating for more. Big, but still fresh, lovely layered finish. This wine should last for a decade in your cellar. The 2012's more balanced, 2013's more dense, and Larry was saying that some of the vintners may have tried to hide the tannins with sugar in these wines. So I can't wait to try the 2013 Niente. 2008 Dolce, 2/3 Semillon, 1/3 Sauvignon Blanc. And, they used to be concerned about getting botrytis every year in Napa. It doesn't have not the same climate as they have in Bordeaux and the Sauternes region. But since 1985, their first vintage, they've only had 2 vintages where they could not get natural botrytis. Hey, they do got misters. They're allowed to do things in California that you're not allowed to do in Bordeaux to help bring along the botrytis here. This one's got a lovely, pretty bouquet of that peach and apricot, honeysuckle, vanilla bean, creme brulee, caramel. Wonderfully sweet on the tongue, but has a firm hand of acidity, balancing that out. That candied peach, creme flan, and caramel notes lasting through the finish, as well as this honeysuckle butterscotch note. Really lovely balance and freshness. Excellent juice at $94.50. That's what we had to drink with our friend Larry McGuire from Niente Winery. Nickel and Nickel and En Route. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.